I am Lawrence Chuno, and this is Doing Jazz. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Jazz. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with bassist and composer Adi Meyerson. Adi has a well-developed musical acumen that stems from her strong work ethics and her diverse musical training and background. On her new album, Where We Stand, Adi presents a classic yet personal interpretation of her original compositions. The song playing in the background is the title track of the album. During my conversation with Adi, you'll hear the songs Eunice, TNT, and Rice and Beans. And towards the end of the conversation, you'll hear the song Unfinished Business. These songs are all from Adi Meyerson's album Where We Stand. After listening to this episode, you can learn more about Adi Meyerson by going to the website of the show, www.doingjazz.net. And you can listen to more episodes of Doing Jazz by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the available podcast vendors. While on iTunes, please rate the show, leave a comment, and share the show with your loved ones. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present Adi Meyerson. In your face. Adi Meyerson, welcome to Doing Jazz.
Thank you. Thanks
Good.
for having me on Doing Jazz.
Thank you for coming on.
I don't know why my voice is a little like hoarse this morning for some reason.
Because it took you a while to get
It took
here.
me, because I had to sit on the A train for an hour. That's all.
Yeah, they're doing some construction on the Uptown track.
Yeah.
We're in Inwood now at 207, so it takes a while. It takes me a while. Whenever I'm trying to go downtown, I add like an extra 30 minutes because because of
I
the
saw
construction.
an ad on the subway last night for like a painting company, and it said, "Painter's more reliable than your morning commute," and I thought that was hilarious.
True.
Yeah, it's been very unreliable lately.
But you know what's reliable? This album. I've been listening to it all day. And
Well, thank you.
yep. Yeah. It's called
I
Where
appreciate that.
Yeah. Where We Stand Now?
Mhm.
Nice. Before we talk about it, I just want to, because I usually forget this part, I want to know what you're doing now in terms of playing out. Do you have any gigs coming up?
I'll be in Berkeley, California on August 3rd
Okay.
for another CD release show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be doing the Stanford Jazz Mentorship Program this summer. So I leave on July 14th
Awesome.
to go to California for a few weeks,
That's great.
and
So
then I'm gonna do the Banff Jazz Workshop, which is in Canada. So then I'll be gone for August. So I'm
where in
kind of like,
Canada?
it's in near Calgary.
Okay.
It's in the Banff National Park.
Yeah.
And they have like an artist, what's it called? The Banff, I forget what it's called, but they have all different kinds of arts. They have residency programs, so the jazz one is 3 weeks in August. So yeah, I'm gonna be gone for most of August.
Yeah, you seem to be very busy. Yeah.
So I'm trying to fit in all these CD release shows throughout the summer, but there'll definitely be more in the fall. I'm working on booking some more things for the band in New York.
Nice.
We have something in November and something in October.
Awesome.
But yeah.
That's good. I wanted to just have a broad sense of what you're up to
Yeah.
because some of my listeners, they they hear about the CD, they hear about the CD and they go and listen on Spotify or uh, iTunes, or
Right.
they download the CD or something like that, and they want to know more what the person is doing. Yeah, even though even if they're not able to catch any of your shows or be at any of the festivals you'll be at, but it's just good to have a good idea of what an artist is up to. That the person is busy. That
Of course,
things are
yeah.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot, and I mean, because I play the bass, so I do a lot of sidemen work.
Yes. Yes. That's
So
a good
like
thing.
today and tomorrow is not a leader gig. It's with a great vocalist named Judy Jackson.
I know Judy.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm playing with Judy tonight and tomorrow, and then again on
Is she in New York now?
Yeah, she just got here. She's
Okay.
visiting.
Okay.
And then she'll be.
Say hello to Judy.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll say hello. And then we're playing at Ginny's on the 13th too of July.
Okay. With Judy?
With Judy.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening. I try to update my website as much as possible, and like Facebook.
You have a nice website, by
Thank
the
you.
way. Yeah.
And Instagram. Sometimes I just forget, and I just go and do the gig and come home, and then
You'll be like, oh,
and then
shoot,
realize
I didn't
that
take
it,
any
like,
picture. I didn't put
yeah,
anything
I didn't
on.
do any. Well, I didn't do anything for like a couple weeks, and then I'm like, wow, it really looks like I don't have any gigs, but I've actually been working every
Yeah,
night.
I
But just
see.
nobody knows.
Yeah.
Like the internet doesn't know. So, but I'll try to be better at it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah,
To be
isn't
honest,
it?
I just
But-
want to go to work and come home.
And come home. See, for you, you have that luxury.
Right.
Because
I
you're
guess I do.
a side person,
Right,
you've
I'm
studied
sideman.
your instrument, and that's your work. You can just go to work and come back
Right,
and not
come
even worry
back.
about promotion. But the lead vocalists and people who get the gig or lead,
Yeah.
like vocalists in general, they who call themselves quote unquote artists,
Yeah.
that's they have to put that in their calendar to make sure they post something on Instagram or put something on Facebook or just update to just let
Right.
people know, hey, I'm alive and I'm still doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try when it's like a club date with like a ticketed show or something that people have to buy tickets, and I'll try to help with promotion. But honestly, sometimes I just forget.
Yeah. And
And it's not personal to any of the band leaders I work
No,
with. It's
no.
just kind of like I'm too busy trying to learn their music, and then the gig is happening, and then you're like, oh, I forgot to Instagram this. Oops. Like I don't. Sometimes I just sometimes Instagram and Facebook and social media at times like it has a very heavy weight
Yes.
and a big. I mean, what is the word I'm looking for? Like it has a large importance.
yeah, it is.
But then other times I just don't care
Yeah.
about it that much, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever. This is just a thing.
As you say, you
that
gotta learn.
exists.
You gotta learn their music, and their music is not the only music you're learning. Them,
Right.
they've
I
been.
gotta learn their
yeah,
music.
yeah.
It's a little bit more important than like
exactly.
posting a photo
Yeah.
of me on Instagram.
And sometimes you play with two different people on the same day or
Right.
back to back. Are you gonna keep like say, hey, I'm playing with Julie at 9 p.m. Come see me with the other person, Josh Moore, at 10 p.m. and
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, today I posted something while I was on the train, so that's a lot
That's
of the
good.
time. That's
That's
like
good.
what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I have to post something, and I'm trying to go from one place to another and make it early enough in the day so people will actually see
Yeah.
it.
But guess what? Now you're a lead. You're like an artist, so you got to post about
I'm
your
trying.
CD.
I'm
Yeah.
trying. Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah. So let's talk about this CD. I'm gonna ask this broad question.
Okay.
Why did you make this CD?
Why
this
did I make
album.
the CD? Because I wanted to put something out there
Mm-hmm.
into the world that kind of showcases the other side of not just as a bass player, but also as a composer
Mm-hmm.
and as an artist, and to have something like some kind of business card or something to like
Yeah.
show for it, to be like, here, I made this.
Nice.
This is me.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out.
Is that the reason why its title is Where We Are Now?
Where we stand.
Where we stand now. Sorry.
Well,
Where we stand.
the title has a few meanings. I think there's a song called "Where We Stand," that's what the title is based on. So, it's also a personal statement, I guess, about my life.
You get to
Yeah.
share a little
Well,
bit?
when I wrote the song, I was kind of like, it was like a weird emotional state of mine. I was kind of like
Mm-hmm.
in between getting over like something and going into something new on the relationship side of things.
Someone. Yes.
Like
I know.
that middle feeling where you're like, I don't know what's happening in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But also just a general feeling about the world. like like where are we going?
Yeah.
Where do we stand?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just pause for a minute and I'm like, I get really overwhelmed
I
by
know. I know.
all the bad stuff
Mm-hmm.
and just the direction of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's also is something I'm trying to. I was hoping to input into that song and into the
Mm-hmm.
album itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it also sounded really good.
Nice.
Where we stand, it
Mm-hmm.
has a good ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like conceptually, I didn't think about like the title first or like the idea of the thing first. I kind of wanted it to just be like a collection that showcases my work in the past few years and just tells a bunch of stories,
Mm-hmm. But
basically.
it really works because of that's the collection of all the music collection is kind of a showcase of where you are, where you
Exactly
stand
where
now,
I
you know,
stand.
in
And it,
terms of everything, in terms of relationship, in terms of musicality, in terms of artistry, and in terms of your observation with what's going on in the world,
yeah.
like you just said.
And it's just, it's just the first one, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this
There's
is the
gonna be more.
beginning. It's the
Mm-hmm.
first. It's like this is where I stand. This is where I'm starting from, and like, if you're interested, tune in to where
Yep.
I will go.
Yep, I'm sure they'll be interested. It gets you. It's an album that, at least this is what it did to me. It makes me curious of who is this person. You know,
Well, that's a good thing.
yeah.
I'm glad that that came
Who is
across.
this chick shedding? you know, yeah. So talking about shedding, there's a lot of good musicianship. Of course, the bass is you can't ignore it. But a lot of other things going on. A lot of other good musicianship, good musicians. Do you care to talk about who did what
Yeah, of
on the
course.
album?
So, I mean, just in general, I think I was just talking about this yesterday with someone. I had an interview and the woman asked me to describe my music, and I like stopped for a minute and I thought about it and I was like, whoa, okay, no one's ever asked me that, but I really just try to make like I think the way I write is just it's more of a collective thought process. I guess it's not really like bass front
Mm-hmm.
as like the bass is not the main thing. It's more just
You're a
like a song.
songwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So then when I was choosing the band, I tried to find, well, I succeeded, I think, but I was looking for musicians that will contribute in that mindset of like contributing to the big picture,
Yeah.
while still being badasses on their instrument. So they'll obviously shine. So they will shine like where they need to, or
Yeah.
like they'll take amazing solos, but they'll still be supportive and sensitive and listen all the time. So I think that was a real success, and I
Yes.
love each and every one of the people that played on my record,
Mm-hmm.
and I look up to them, and I think very very highly of all of them. I think they did an amazing job. I mean, we did the whole thing in one day, so that's just that is like admirable.
Yeah.
I
What
think.
are the names?
So let's see. Start with the horns. We got Joel Fromm on the saxophone, and Joel. I mean, I'm like so happy that Joel agreed to do this project. You know, he's such a badass, and I've been listening to him for so many years.
Nice.
I'm so glad he was part of it. And then we had Freddie Hendrix on the trumpet. Then trumpet is actually like the last thing I kind of decided to add. So I didn't want it to sound all the same. So like not all the songs are quintet
Yeah.
in that sense. Like
Yeah.
sonically, I wanted a little bit of like different things happening. So Freddie's on 5 tunes, and of course he's amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and he just kills it. And I really just love all of them. They're all so great, and I'm really fortunate to have them all
Yeah.
on my record.
Nice.
And then we got Kush Abadi on drums, who
Okay.
I think I met Kush, he was one of the first. Him and Mike, who plays piano, they were like some of the first people I met in New York
Okay.
and played with. And yeah, Kush he's a good friend, and he's an amazing drummer, and I feel when I play with him, I feel very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
But also opened, and he's really creative and really musical, but still really supportive.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that
Nice.
in a drummer. I need a drummer to not overplay, but also not be afraid to take risks,
Yeah.
musical risks, which is cool. And Mike too, same thing, incredibly
Mike,
creative.
what's his last name?
Mike King.
Mike King. Okay.
On piano.
Okay.
Incredibly creative and musical, but also very supportive as a rhythm section. There's a little mistake that I'm not gonna tell anybody where it is, but it's
You don't want to.
no, but the funny thing is I didn't even notice because the rhythm section,
Yeah.
we all did the same thing together.
Mm-hmm.
We were so tuned into each other that we skipped a bar or something, and I didn't even know. But because we were all just tight in that
sync,
sense.
yeah.
We were just listening to each other so deeply in the studio that
Yeah.
only months later somebody pointed it out when they were sitting in front of the tune with the piece of music. They're like, "This is that possible?" And I'm I had to go back and check it, but you really can't hear it. I really couldn't hear it this whole time. But
that's good.
that's the kind of rhythm section I want to work with. People that just they listen, but yeah.
Are these your band members? Same?
I want to say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so you had
yes.
played these songs for a
We
while
have
with
played
them.
these songs.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it's New York, so
Yeah.
To get a band to have the same people on all the gigs all the time is almost impossible.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's rotations. There's
Okay.
people
Yeah.
in the band. There's different. There's other musicians that have also played this music with me.
Okay.
But those are the core. I
Yeah.
guess the core cats. And before we move on, I want to also mention Camila, because she's also part of the band.
Okay.
She's only on 2 tracks on the record.
She's the vocalist.
She's a vocalist, and she plays guitar on one of the tracks too.
Oh.
So she sings and plays guitar, and she's amazing. And I've always admired her. I met her at the new school. I think we had a semester where I was a freshman. Well, I wasn't a freshman, but I transferred. My first semester was her last semester. I met her, but I always thought she was amazing.
What's her last name?
Meza. Camila
Okay.
Meza.
Camila Meza. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm referring to them as everybody knows them. So Camila Meza, yeah, she's amazing. She has a lot of amazing music out too,
Nice.
as a singer and songwriter and band leader. But I really wanted her to sing that song, Little Firefly, after I wrote it. It's just about the tone of her voice really was what I was hearing in my head,
I see.
and I'm glad she agreed to be part
It
of it.
reminds me that's one of the ones that I had to listen to twice, and it reminded me of Esperance Spalding's song
Really?
called Yeah. I mean,
That's so
I'll
funny.
take that as a compliment. So I don't know how
No,
you take
totally,
that. Okay.
Which song?
It's called Little Fly, I think.
Huh.
Yeah. Is it Little Fly? It has fly.
know that
Yeah, it's a Little Fly. Yeah. It's in her. I can't remember.
I gotta go check it out.
Yeah. It's not like the same thing. It's not this. It's not even the same kind of composition. That
Interesting.
it's the voice. They have both bright voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Talking about the music, I have a few that I really like.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I
glad.
think I'm gonna like more because whenever I connect to an album, I end up just discovering good things about each of them. But
Right.
these are the ones that I kind of related to
Yeah.
immediately.
I think every album has that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some very, very perfect albums. But even those very, very perfect albums, I still find myself like favoriting a couple tracks. Even that I like always listen to the album from beginning to end because it's like just as a whole it's so perfect. But yeah, there's always like a few tracks that I'm in the mood for. And then it switches every once in a while. I discover I'm like, oh, I thought I didn't really
care for this.
Really, but actually this is killing.
This is
really good.
Yeah. Eunice is the first one.
Everyone likes Eunice. It seems like Eunice is like
it's like subtly bluesy, you know. But I don't think you wanted to write a blues.
No, it's not a blues.
Okay, yeah, it's not, but it's like a little bluesy. But then
yeah,
it's
no,
still,
it's definitely that's exactly what I wanted. Like something that's very bluesy.
Yeah.
And rooted, but still like really dark.
Yes, it's like dark and like the bass intro. It has a bass intro.
Yeah,
right?
It has a bass intro.
Yeah, it has a bass intro that it's like you think that's just gonna be the song, and then the song starts, and you're like, "Oh, this is actually good," you know. So yeah, that's how it just makes me feel. I don't have a lot of word to it.
Well, I wrote that after I watched the Nina Simone documentary.
Okay.
And well, her real name was Eunice, so I that was like kind of a song for her, I guess, inspired by her. So yeah, I tried to capture that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Nice.
Something.
Guess what? Because okay, this is a compliment, all right?
Okay.
When I listen to the song, I'm like, okay, this is not an original. I didn't know it was an original because it was so good. It's like, this song is so good. Let me make sure she wrote it before I say things, you know.
Yeah.
Let me make sure it's not, because sometimes, let's say if somebody who is a good musician covers, say, All of Me, for instance, that person is gonna like add, like bring about 12 years of playing that song into it. So the song is gonna be like killing if the person records it today. So that's how Eunice sounded to me. Eunice sounded to me like a song that you've played over and over again, that has been played by a lot of people, and then you listen to all of them and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this my own way and it's gonna be the best. When I googled Eunice song, the first person I saw was Nina Simone. So it's so interesting that you said that. So it's actually a good thing that it's a tribute to her.
Yeah, I'm glad it came across that way too.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for the compliment.
You're
I mean,
welcome.
I can understand like where that comes from too. I mean, and it's funny because they're just songs. Like when you think about it, even All of Me and all these standards that we've played are somebody's original music.
Yeah,
And
true.
you kind of like, because they're just become standards,
Yes.
you forget that there's actually like a person
Oh,
who
right.
wrote them.
Wrote them in their bedroom.
Yeah, or like even like jazz standards, like like Benny Golson tunes, for example. People play all the time.
Yeah.
And then it's like you play these songs and I'm like, oh yeah, Benny Golson tune, whatever, blah blah blah. Along came Betty, and then I heard Benny Golson play Benny Golson's tunes, and it was like
Yeah,
like a light bulb.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, he now
wrote
I
the
get it.
song.
Like he wrote the song. Like this is how you play it.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that my tunes
Yeah.
come across that way because I think sometimes in modern jazz that's kind of lacking. Just like the way people write music.
Yeah.
It's there's this idea of what music should sound like and what jazz in 2018 should sound like.
Yeah.
And some of it does not sound like songs.
Yes.
Some of it just sounds like
Yeah.
pieces and bits
Yeah.
of things, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes there's something wrong with it.
But sometimes there
it
is.
starts sounding so academic. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I learned how to compose this way. I got to put all this into
Right,
it.
and
you know?
people tend to put out records of all original music just because like that's what
Yeah.
you're supposed to do. Supposedly,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna put a record and write music because that's what's gonna make me a good,
Yeah.
good musician. Which I mean, I don't know. It took me like about 2 years to get this project into the studio. And I was always like on the fence about should I do all originals or should I do half standards? Should I do all originals, half standards? I was kind of like back and forth about it for a really long time. And I ended up doing all originals.
Yeah.
And kind of, it was almost like a little bit of a risk to do all originals.
I was gonna talk about that. I was gonna talk about how they are all original, but there's still the tradition is still there, and the fact that the composer is well studied still shows itself, and it's still very modern, even though the tradition is maintained. And it's hard to put all those balance, to have all those balance, to like have a whole album where you use upright throughout, but it's still grooving, it's still swinging when it needs to swing, and it still communicates the songwriter's idea to people who might not necessarily really be into jazz, Yeah, like a song like Eunice does that.
Right, it's kind of, yeah, but I didn't write it to write a crossover song.
No,
You know
no,
what
no.
I mean?
That's
Like,
what
I
I'm
didn't
saying.
think about it
That's
at
what
all.
I'm saying. But
Right.
but what happens if it crosses
That's
over?
fine.
Exactly.
I want more people to listen
yeah.
to it. Yeah, I am proud of the fact that like this music is very honest and the
Yes.
whole way. And I did this whole record myself. Like I like produced it. I guess you may say because I had no producer, but like I sat throughout the whole mixing, mastering, everything. Like, and it came out very much me. Just like I mean, even if like it sucks and people don't like it, like it's very much just who I am,
yes.
and I didn't like put on anything just because that's what I think jazz should sound like, or that's I'm trying to make money or be famous or do some shit like that. Like I just wanted to put out like an honest representation of me as a person and as a musician, and I think this record really did showcase that. And of course, like I said before, it's just the first one, and it's just the beginning.
It's the beginning.
So it's like even if I'm not happy with like some of the solos or not happy with like the way I played on certain things, I need to like remind myself that okay, this is just the beginning. This is just like the first page of the book, basically.
Nice. Let's talk about another song I really dig, TNT.
Okay.
It's bold. The intro is like, okay, yes, you gotta listen to this song.
Yeah, it's funny. That one is actually a blues form, which is. I was trying to write a blues.
Good.
Not a bluesy blues.
Yeah.
Blues. Yeah, TNT. What about TNT? A few years ago, I had these two roommates named Taylor and Tila. They're a couple, and they lived in the other bedroom. And my friend used to call them TNT. And then after I graduated college, I just was like, I read that song, and I kind of was like, I'm gonna write a song for you guys. And I came up with that blues and decided to call it TNT, kind of in dedication to them, but also just like TNT, like a dynamite, like it needs to be like a poppin' song.
That's awesome.
That one was just fun.
It's a fun
That one
song.
had no really deep emotional story behind it. But
we can insert emotion. I can
Of
put my
course.
emotions into
but
it.
compared
Don't
to
mess
the
it
other
up
ones,
for me,
compared to the
Adi.
really dark other ones where
Yeah.
I'm just like, this person died,
Yeah.
so I wrote a song. This was just a flick. Yeah. Here's a fun little
song.
tune.
Yeah. Cool.
I like that song. I like playing TNT.
Good.
Maybe that should be my theme. The
TNT. Maybe.
band theme. I don't know. We'll see.
Adi Meyerson and TNT. I don't know. No.
Well, no, just like play it at the beginning of every
Oh,
gig and
okay,
at the end of
I
every
see.
gig.
How about rice and beans? I really like that one too.
Rice and beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I wrote in Costa Rica.
Okay.
I was just like chilling on the beach,
Yeah.
and I came up with the theme, like the melody. And the words was like, all I eat is rice and beans, because I was just thinking that's all I've been eating.
Yeah.
Like, because my first
But
time
it doesn't
in
have
Costa Rica.
it doesn't have lyric.
No, it doesn't. But I was kind of just sitting, and I was just like, all I eat is rice and beans.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, oh wait, that's cool. And then I kind of like sat on the beach and like tried to develop it, and then I had to go back up the mountain and write it down.
The rice and beans must be good then.
It was so good.
Okay.
Oh my god, it was like it gave rice and beans a whole new
A
meaning
whole new
when I was
meaning.
down there. Because I mean, I grew up in Israel. Rice and beans is not really something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different kind of rice and beans, but it's not like the Latin American rice and
Yeah.
beans.
Mhm.
So I was just like, whatever, rice and beans.
Rice and beans.
Cool. And then I went there and like they literally had it in breakfast. They have it for breakfast, for dinner, and for lunch. Like everything. You can get rice and beans whenever you want. But
And I
it
like
had this
that.
whole new thing. I was like, oh my god, rice and beans. Like this is so good. I've never had such good rice and beans.
Yeah.
And I ended up like ordering it all the time. To a point where I was like, man, this is literally all I've been eating
Yummy.
here. It was rice and beans, plantains, but they didn't fit in the lyrics of the song.
But sometimes if something is good and you like it, why not just eat it? Like
Right.
yeah.
I'm only there for like, I was only there for like a week or so.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta eat as
see.
much rice
As
and
much-
beans as possible. So I wrote a tune.
I have that kind of relationship with chicken chow mein now. The Chinese restaurant next to me here, close to me here on 10th Avenue, their chicken chow mein is on another level, and and it's cheap. It's like $5.25.
Wow.
And
That's
it's
really cheap.
It's cheap and it's good. It's hot. It doesn't have the sauce is whitish. It's not it doesn't have a lot of oil in it, and I like it because
That's
it
good.
feels good in my stomach. Yeah, and it's a lot of chicken, a lot of
Yeah.
rice, and then they give you these chips, and it's just
Food,
good.
man. People don't like what you eat is really important.
Yeah.
And eating good things is really important.
It's important.
And food, there's this music. I mean, musicians have been writing songs about food for many years.
Yeah.
Like fried bananas.
Yeah.
Dexter Gordon. Dexter Gordon
Yeah.
loved to write about desserts, I think.
Yeah.
He has fried bananas, and there's cheesecake. There's one more. I forget. But then Wes Montgomery had fried pies.
Yeah, yeah. And then
You know.
Herbie Hancock, who wrote Watermelon Man?
Watermelon Man.
Yeah.
Herbie Hancock. Yeah, food is the thing.
Yeah, food is important.
I try to only eat things that I like.
Me too.
Like that tastes good.
Yeah.
I don't like just to put stuff in my
Yeah.
stomach or spend money on things that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather not eat. In that sense.
True. Me, when I try something and I like it, I kind of stick to it for a while. I'm not too good with trying
Trying new things.
Try new things. I hate to admit that, but I'm not that adventurous with food. So whenever I try something new and it's good, and I'm like, okay, yes, I'm gonna write this down.
I do have to say though that thing that we do, we don't eat if it's not good. Like that's such a luxury that some people don't have in this world, and I just thought about that and got really sad.
No, it is.
Like,
but we have to be honest that that's what we do. We can't.
But like, I feel lucky that I can actually choose what to eat.
True.
You know what I mean? Like some people can't.
Yeah, some people can't. True. You have a point. You have a point. You are listening to Doing Jazz with Lawrence Chuno. The guest on this episode is bassist and composer Adi Meyerson. Her new album, Where We Stand, is available for download and streaming. All right. So, Adi.
Mm-hmm.
Adi.
There you go.
Where are you from?
I grew up in Israel, in Jerusalem, Israel.
Okay.
I was born in San Francisco area and moved to Israel when I was about 2, maybe a little less. So I am from Israel, but I get asked that a lot because I don't really have your typical Israeli accent when I speak. So people are always like really confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up in Israel and Jerusalem. Both my parents are American, and I was born in the United States. So I do consider myself partially American in that sense.
Yeah.
But I did grow up in Israel, and I am Israeli.
Okay.
And yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
Jerusalem.
Yeah. So why did your parents decide to move to Israel? I'm assuming they are Jewish.
They are Jewish. Okay. They met in Israel.
Okay.
They were both there.
Both Americans, and they met in Israel.
Some program, yeah. They met there, and then they kind of, I think they were trying to figure out where to live, so they were kind of going back and forth, and I was born at some point, and then they decided that Israel was the place where they wanted to settle down.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I liked growing up in Israel. I'm glad I grew up in Israel. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about like what would have happened if they would have stayed in San Francisco. But yeah, I mean, Israel was great. I had a very normal, well, almost normal childhood. Great friends, like great food.
Nice.
Just a lot of freedom when I was a kid. Did a lot of cool things. I'm glad, I don't know.
Yeah. I had another person, another artist here, and she's kind of almost like you in that sense that, but she was born in Israel, but her parents are American.
Oh, who's this?
Sivan Arbel. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, but she grew up in Israel.
She grew up in Israel.
Yeah, I've known her since we were like 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did like a big band together.
Oh, okay.
When I was like 15.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so
her parents,
your stories are similar in a way. Yeah, kind of.
But she was born in Israel?
I think so.
But her parents are American?
Yes, I
think
at least one of she grew up in Israel. At least one of her parents, I think.
Right, I think one of her parents is American.
Is American.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. We at some point my parents moved out of Jerusalem.
Okay.
To like a little town like outside of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And then she lived in a town that was a little farther than my town, but in between there was this big band program that we did when I played electric bass when I was 15.
Nice.
And she sang on it, and so that's how I know her.
Cool. So how and when did you get into music?
I think I've always kind of wanted to play, but
are your parents musicians?
My dad played guitar.
Okay.
But not professionally.
Yeah.
I always like wanted to play.
I
remember like wanting piano lessons, so they got me a keyboard. I wanted violin lessons. So they got me a violin, but they never really like went past getting, like they got me a violin that had no strings on it.
What?
Yeah, they were just like, oh, we got this old violin. And it just had no strings.
They're like, figure it out.
And it was unplayable. And they're like, we'll get you lessons. Don't worry. And then it just sat there.
That is so funny.
I'm like, thanks, guys. No, love my parents.
That is
Love
so
you, Mom.
funny. I like that though.
No, but it was always like a good initiative, but
Yeah.
it never like, I was also a gymnast when I was young. I
Okay.
did gymnastics since I was 6
Nice.
until I was like 16. And I was really serious about it when I was younger.
Okay.
So I think that was also like a thing. They're like, well, you have gymnastics.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be serious about something else, like there's only like a certain amount of
Time.
after school activities that we can afford and that you can do time wise too. Because we didn't have, like the school system is a little different. So I didn't have like music in my school, in elementary school. We didn't have like a band program.
Yeah.
We had like a general music class, but nobody got instruments.
Yeah.
You don't learn how to play it. You don't choose an instrument. So I just kind of was like, I want this and I want that. And I could mess around a little bit on the piano. I could mess around on the guitar. And then I went to a school that went from like 7th to 12th grade.
Okay.
So a big, long. And I got in, it was an art school, and I got in on visual art. And I did that. And at some point, I just I was like hanging with all the musicians, and I kind of was like, I wanted to play bass guitar. It's like they didn't have a bass player, and I was like, well, I want to do this. And I started getting into rock and roll, into like Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and Zeppelin, and
Awesome.
you know. And then I had some money, so I just bought a bass. Like I was like, all right, I found this cheap thing on like the equivalent to Craigslist back then.
Yeah.
And this kid that he actually lives here now. He's not a kid anymore, but he was I was in 8th grade and he was in 12th grade, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And I got him to give me lessons. So I was just like, I just did it myself.
Nice.
I was like, all right, Mom and Dad, I'm just gonna do this. And they were cool about it because it was my money, so they didn't really care at that point. But I was really serious about it in 8th grade, and I would just like practice all the time. And then I ended up moving to the music department in my school.
Okay.
And playing electric.
Yeah.
Which wasn't really like jazz focused. It was supposedly jazz focused, but wasn't really. And it wasn't until I was like older, till I was like 17 or 18, where I really like found out more about jazz. Like I was into fusion. I thought like Weather Report and Jocko and like Aline Caron and Uzeb and all these like fusion bands were I didn't really know what else was out there, so I was like, this is jazz. This is cool. I like this. I was really into that. I knew like a little bit about Mingus and Ellington and just Miles and like the very basic like just names that I heard in school and in history class, or like we had this friend that had a really big jazz collection. And then I think he gave me some records, and then somebody else gave me some records. And I was like, wait, I heard these Sonny Rollins records, and I was just like, oh wow, this is really good.
Cool.
This is really cool. I'm really into this. And I was about 18 around then. 17, 18. I was like starting my senior year in high school. And I just started getting into it and like tried to play it on electric. I tried to get that feeling, that swing, that sound, and it didn't really work. So I just, when I graduated high school, I decided I was gonna get an upright, rent an upright, and start playing upright.
Nice.
But yeah, I played for my senior recital. I actually transcribed Christian McBride's solo on In a Hurry, which is from his record Getting to It. So I was like into jazz, like I knew that I wanted to do jazz, but I still like didn't know that much about it. And I was still playing electric.
But
I was trying to play like traditional music.
At that point, did you know you wanted to be a musician?
Around then, I remember doing my senior recital and like kind of being stressed about it, and then doing it and realizing that I want to do this
Good.
for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want this to be the last one.
Yeah.
I just want this to be the first one.
Okay.
And then I was like, this is what I want to do.
That's good.
And then this idea of moving to New York came up and all these things. And I ended up meeting a teacher. I heard about this program in Tel Aviv that my late teacher, Amit Golan, created. And I auditioned for that, and Amit accepted me, even though I was only playing upright for like 3 months. And he accepted me to the program and kind of gave me the rest of the tools I needed to like really learn about jazz.
Nice.
So that's that.
So you went to college at the new school?
I went to college. Yeah, I did this program, which is like an exchange program between the new school and Israel. I was the first year that did it. Now it's kind of been happening for a little while. But so you do 2 years in Israel, or 3. I did 3, but like 2 or 3 years in Israel, and then 2 years at the new school, and you graduate with your bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
So I did that program and got into the new school and just did it. I was like, fuck it, I'm moving to New York.
Nice.
And kind of moved to New York. I was only playing bass for like 3 years when I moved to New York.
Oh, wow.
Because I was 21.
Yeah.
And and the city's just been kicking my ass ever since. And
But that's good.
I think I really needed it to like, I needed to come here at that age, not being developed at all. Just to get that motivation to really work hard. Because in Israel, it was like easy. I was working the year before I moved here. I was playing bass in the theater and like what's equivalent to Broadway here back there, and I was making really good money. And I was like having a successful career as a musician at age 20. Like I was making a ton of money, also waitressing and also trying to finish school. But I was like, this is cool. You know, but I wasn't really like practicing or doing anything to like advance my artistic point of view in that sense. And I kind of was like, financially it was cool, but also in my head I was like, I'm not ready to compromise yet. Like there's something else that I need to do. So
and
I decided to move.
New York whips you into shape.
It
does.
Yes.
In
Every day.
Every respect.
Every day.
You're like, first of all, there's never enough money.
Yeah.
You gotta make enough to pay your rent. Then you gotta, when you go out to jam sessions. Like me, whenever I go to jam sessions, I'm a vocalist and I play a little bit of the piano. Whenever I go to jam sessions and I come back, I say to myself, I gotta practice. I need to I need to practice. I need to devote more time to practice. And that's a good that's a weird feeling, but at the same time, it's a good feeling. It's a good thing to be at a place that keeps challenging you, where everybody's good and everybody's getting better, you know, and this is where it happens. And I think you're doing it. You're working with the right people. You're working with people with name, and you have this good, very, very good album out. Excellent album out. Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm trying to do my best. No, it does feel good, like to sit back for a minute and look at all of where I'd started and where I am now, and realize that a lot has been accomplished.
Yes, yeah.
But you're an artist. You know how we are as artists. Yeah. Like we always strive for more.
Yep.
And always feel that we need to be better and need to be doing more.
Of course.
And which is a good and a bad thing to itself, but like more of a good thing that there's that endless hunger of creating something good. Yeah. And meaningful.
Yep.
So. It's just the beginning.
Yeah. Wow. So it took you a lot of work and a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication to get to where you are now. Even though you might not think you're old enough, but you've accomplished. Even though you're not old at all, but you've accomplished. You've accomplished so much to the point that you can give advice to somebody starting out, like especially to you're in this good position because you're an American. You know this country well. You know New York now, but again, you have the Israeli perspective.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I know this country well. I know New York
I mean,
well.
it's a huge country, but
I know New York well. Every time I go somewhere else, I'm kind of like, oh, where am I?
Okay,
What is
but you've
this
been
place? But yeah,
you've been in New York for a while.
I've been in New York for a minute.
So you have the perspective of somebody coming from a different country and coming to New York,
sure.
and you understand. I mean, you could, if you don't tell somebody you're from Israel, they will never guess.
Right.
You know, you could go to Wyoming and just live there and just observe them. They would think you're from there.
I would hate that.
you hate
Personally, I would lose it.
Yeah.
I come off as like, I look maybe a little Midwestern or whatever, but like, I really don't like the Midwest. Sorry, people from the Midwest. It's just too flat and there's nothing to do and boring.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologies.
They'll be fine. So my question is this: if somebody like a young musician from Israel, from outside the country, wants to move here, what would you advise the person to do?
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
First of all, come with about a year's worth of rent and savings.
Okay.
Like real talk. Just to get an apartment costs a lot of money up front.
Yeah. If they give you one.
Yeah, exactly. Come with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Come with a lot of money. I would say also to people not just moving from another country, but in general, people that move to New York, trying to succeed at being a musician, especially the young. Like, it's a lot harder when you come to New York without some kind of structure, like school or something. If you just decide to come to New York just to make it, it gets very lonely and very like going out every night till 3 a.m, waking up, practicing. It's hard, and it's hard to meet people, and it's like hard to, having a structure definitely makes it a little easier, and a little easier to meet people.
When you mean structure,
I mean like school,
having,
or
like having a degree,
having something that you have to do every day.
Okay, I see.
That is not just like practicing and going to jam sessions.
Okay.
Like having some kind of job or some kind of.
Nice.
I mean, I would say school for the most part.
Yeah.
Is a really good. It's a good thing, even if it's just one semester or private lessons with somebody.
Nice.
Or some kind of course that you want to take.
Okay.
Just something that that you have to get up in the morning for.
That's good.
Is important.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to get lost when you don't have that. And to feel really lonely and shitty. I mean, and people come here and they do succeed in that, but especially the young people, like if you just come and to be in New York, it's like you have to have a very specific personality.
Yes.
To be able to to keep yourself on a schedule. It's very easy to like fall off track.
Yeah.
But also in general, to everyone just starting out, like you realize throughout the years that this is not like a sprint. Like this is a marathon. Yeah. You're trying to have a lifelong career. Like there's a lot of people who come and they get a little recognition when they're young, and then 5 years later you're like, oh, I wonder what happened to that person. There's all this like promise around them or talk about them, and not everybody steps up to the task. And the people that really do end up having a long career and end up working are really the people that look at it in the long term.
Yes.
Like it's not about like, I don't know.
So what I'm hearing is there will be disappointments and there will be successes. To not dwell on any of them. Just know that you're in it for the long run. It's gonna happen. And to keep working hard, just know that you got to keep getting better because you're in this for
the decisions you make a lot of the times. Think about like when I remember talking to somebody about this, and it just really like resonated when I was younger. When I first moved here, it was like a lot of the things, so when you start making decisions of what to do and what gigs to take and what gigs not to take and what you can do, and you'll be put in situations where like sometimes you won't be able to say yes to everything. And like you need to take a step back and think, all right, like what do I want in the long run, and what relationships am I keeping?
Yes.
And what ones are like, just in general, like thinking about your career not as like today, but like, all right, where do I want to be in 10 years? How do I get to that in 10 years? And it's like making sure you have a career in 10 years, and not just today. Like not just today because you got some kind of like recognition for some shit. I don't know, whatever. Like how do you keep that going for the rest of your life so you can live substantially, support a family, like be able to still create good music while doing all those things.
Yes. Well said. Yeah.
I don't know, because it's life. Like
yes.
This is something we're going to be doing our whole life.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Good. Nice. I have this frivolous question
that
I'm sure anybody listening is going to be wondering. Do you speak Hebrew?
Yes.
Okay. Do you speak it with an accent?
No. I speak it without an accent.
So you speak it without an accent, and you speak American English without an accent. Okay.
I'm pretty good at accents, though. Like I can fake some good like.
Interesting. I'm from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, and I've lived here for 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah. 17. I came here for college, and you can still hear my accent.
Right.
So.
Well, but I mean, my parents still have an American accent when they speak Hebrew.
Okay, so I see, and they speak English to you.
Yeah. I grew up speaking English at home, so I think that's why.
Okay.
But in Hebrew, outside.
Oh, okay, that would do it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I guess also like I'm sure my accent kind of New York, like it shifted when I moved to New York.
You think so?
Yeah.
Your English accent?
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Definitely. It definitely has a little. I don't know. It's not, but I don't have a Israeli accent.
Okay.
For the most part.
I see.
I can do a good one though. I can kind of talk like this, and it's like people are like, "Oh, you from Israel?"
You from?
Okay.
That's really good. Have you considered? Sorry, I shouldn't be telling you, but I was gonna say you're in New York. You definitely go for auditions to be an actress with that kind of accent. But I'm sure there are other Israelis that they have already.
I don't know. I think one performing arts career at the moment is enough.
Is enough.
I don't think I can handle another one unless anyone offers. If you want me to be in your whatever play, film, I'm down.
Exactly, or be a bassist in a movie, an Israeli bassist with a thick Israeli accent.
No, I'm not gonna do it on air, but because I don't want to embarrass myself or anyone. But I can kind of fake a lot of accents.
I mean, you should, I totally believe you. I totally believe you for the little you've done. Yeah, we're gonna conclude with this little game.
Okay.
That I call turn up, mute.
Turn up, mute?
Yeah, I'm going to give you two options.
Okay.
The one you're feeling at the moment, you turn it up. The other one, we mute it. But there's a caveat. The caveat is that the one you're muting, it doesn't mean you don't like that one. It just means that at this point in time, this is what I'm feeling.
All right.
Does that make sense?
I guess so. So you're going to play me music and
I'm not going to play. I'm just going to say I'm just going to tell you two. It doesn't even have to be music.
Oh,
two things.
You're going to tell me two things and I'm going to say either turn up or
it could be
mute.
rice and beans, chicken chow mein.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the first two options, it's hard.
Okay.
So Christian McBride, Esperanza Spalding.
Damn, that is a hard one.
You have to choose one.
Christian McBride, turn up.
Okay.
As of now.
As of now, yeah. Makes sense.
I like Esperanza a lot, though.
Yeah.
I admire her very much.
Yeah.
I think she's great. Mm-hmm. I just heard Christian live a few months ago playing his New John with his New John band, and it was so killing. So
nice.
I'm kind of on that Christian vibe a little lately.
Great. See, you're doing well.
There you go.
Jerusalem, New York.
Turn up New York.
Turn up New York.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Love Jerusalem, but
About in terms of music. Okay. Now this one. You ready for this? A Touch of Grey, Unfinished Business. These are two songs from your CD.
That's a hard one. I'm gonna say turn up Unfinished Business because
Okay.
Mike King plays like the most killing piano solo.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike plays just like the most amazing piano solo at the end of that track. So just
Okay.
because of that,
Yeah.
but A Touch of Grey is
I like A Touch
I
of
like
Grey.
it too.
I was going for A Touch of Grey.
You're going for that. Also, he plays a very nice piano intro on that one.
On
So
that one
that's
too,
I was
so-
like, oh. No, that one's fun too.
Unfinished Business then.
I'm gonna go with that one
Good.
just for now.
Yeah. Nice. Adi Meyerson, thank you for coming on Doing
Thank you so
Jazz.
much for having me. This was really fun.
Good. I hope we can do it again.
Definitely.
Later.
My next record.
Good.